It's a Monday mailbag coming at you on today's Philadelphia 76ers Now. I'm Chase Sr. Thank you so much for being here with us. Hope all of your weeks are off to a great start. And if you're still recovering from St. Patrick's Day weekend, that's completely understandable. Coming up, we're taking your questions ahead of tonight's game, Monday night against the Miami Heat. But even if you're watching this after Monday, all of these topics still relevant for Philadelphia here. Got to beat the Heat. Huge game for the Sixers in the Eastern Conference standings. I need 1,000 F Miamis down in the comments section. Jimmy Butler has owned Philadelphia. It makes me sick, and in turn, I hate the Heat. Let's start off with this one here. The new DK Sports and Gaming. Will Joel Embiid be able to carry the 76ers through the playoffs after being injured? We're going to get to a Joel Embiid injury update coming up here in just a moment. Let's first take a look at the NBA playoff picture here. Philadelphia is not where you want to be in the play-in tournament right now. In the playoffs, and obviously there's some runway from here until the playoffs and the end of the regular season, Boston Celtics running away with the number one seed. They actually already clinched their playoff berth. Only team to do that in the Eastern Conference. 2 seed, 9.5 games back, Milwaukee Bucks. After that, Cavaliers, Knicks, Magic, Pacers. The good news here, not a lot of games separating the 4 seed all the way through the 8 seed. Knicks have 40 wins. Philadelphia has 37. And this is why this game is huge for Philadelphia on Monday night, because they're locked with the Miami Heat right now, 37-30, just 7 games over 500. You get Joel Embiid back at the end of the regular season. You get him back for just the playoffs. The makeup of this team changes. The psyche and confidence and swagger of this basketball club flips on its head, because you're getting back Joel Embiid, who might not give you 35 and 11, but one of the most dominant forces in the entire NBA, and he makes everything else fall in line for the Sixers roster. As for the latest Joel Embiid injury update, he participated in non-contact drills, did return to practice. He is still targeting a late season return. That's really all that you can ask for right now on the Embiid front, considering the injury, considering how severe the process is to come back from an injury like that, and just that glimmer of hope, Chip, that he's going to be able to make it back before the end of the season, which, again, could just alter things so much for the Sixers.
It's that glimmer of hope, what you were saying, and I really believe that if this team has a fully healthy Embiid, and the whole team is fully healthy because there's a lot of other injuries.
Melton, yeah.
But if this team's fully healthy, they can compete with pretty much anybody else in the East. The Celtics are obviously a tank. But in terms of making a conference finals run, if Embiid's healthy, they can do it. Can he carry them? Is he going to be conditioned? And is he going to be fully healthy? Yep. Those are the 2 things I'm going to look for. If he is, I don't see why this team can't win a couple playoff series.
Yeah. 2 things from producer Chip right there. And one thing that I want to hone in on before we ask to hear from you down in the comments section, Joel Embiid's conditioning. What type of shape is he going to be in? Because when he's been healthy, even when you get to this point of the playoffs, when there's a lot of travel, not as many days in between games, not as much of a break, and the intensity of playoff games gets ratcheted up, he's worn down. So now, how's he going to look after having not played for a really long time? And if he does get back at some point before the end of the season, in what shape will he be? So can Joel Embiid carry this team to the conference finals? That's going to be a tall task, especially if the Celtics await in the second round. If you can somehow get Milwaukee in that second round and don't play in that play-in tournament, I think the Sixers could make a little bit of a run, but obviously it's going to be tough, and they have to get over the mental hurdles, not just the physical totals. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no for that question there. Dark Knights 5. What is up with Robert Covington? So Robert Covington actually also participated in non-contact drills. He has missed 35 straight games because of a knee injury. And I'm not even sure how much he'd be a part of the playoff rotation. He is a wing defender who could guard a little bit of Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown at least make their job a little bit more difficult for just a couple of moments. I mean, shoot, we saw Daniel House getting some playoff run last year during that second-round series against Boston. Could Rocco kind of fill in that gap? Maybe a little bit, and he's not a bad three-point shooter, but with what Nick Nurse said, it's a good step forward. Hopefully, it'll keep going forward. The issue with that is when it seemed as though Robert Covington was going to be able to come back, he had some type of setback, which is why he's missed those 35 straight games going into Monday. Our sponsor for today's 76ers now is Factor Meals. Eating better is easy with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian approved, and ready in just 2 minutes. You'll have over 35 different options to choose from every week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Also, there are more than 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled and feeling good all day long. What are you waiting for? Come on now, get started and get after your goals. 2-minute meals fuel up fast with Factor's restaurant quality meals that are ready to heat up and eat whenever you are. Pancakes, smoothies, and more. Discover a wide variety of easy options for the entire day, like breakfast, midday bites, lunch, dinner, more. No prep, no mess meals. Factor's meals are ready to heat and eat. There's no prepping, cooking, or cleanup needed. The best part about all of this is you get 50% off. factormeals.com/SixersChat50. Make sure you use that code SixersChat50 for this deal to apply. We're going to put this link down below in the comments section as well as in the description of this video. Let's continue to move forward and take your questions here. Tyler, any update on Kai Jones? So he played in 2 games with the Delaware Blue Coats at the G League level. He actually played pretty well in that first one. Unfortunately, in that second game, he pulled a hamstring. But he signed that 10-day contract on Friday, played for the Blue Coats on a back-to-back, Friday and Saturday. He will spend the entire 10-day contract in the G League, and then the Sixers are going to reevaluate him from there. And he did an interview with Shams Charania, and he said, I had a couple of great-grandparents pass away not far from one another. I went through a lot of things. He looks completely different than he does in the profile picture here. Shaved head, completely bald. So maybe a new hairdo or lack of hair means a new Kai Jones. His first game, Sixers put him to the test. They played him 30 minutes out of the gate. He had 14 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. How about this, though? 5 steals. The length, getting in the passing lanes. Could this be a backup center for Joel Embiid at some point if he has that head on straight and the basketball side of it develops? Unfortunately, though, suffered that hamstring injury on Saturday. He's waiting for an update. Maybe the Sixers can give him another 10-day if the injury is a part of it, because I'd like to see what he's able to do for this team. And who would you rather be playing? Mo Bamba, who's basically a 0, and Kai Jones, who's been a 0 because he hasn't been playing. MB for Mo Bamba, KJ for Kai Jones. Robertson 355. Lakers profile picture. Do you think the Sixers will make it to the conference finals when the playoffs come? I know that Chip stated his optimism. I am 32 years old. The only time I've seen the Sixers make it past the second round to the conference finals, 2001. I was 9 years old. Allen Iverson won the MVP. I got Allen Iverson shoes and jerseys every single year. I was obsessed. Allen Iverson is one of my overall Philly sports GOATs. He actually sent me a pair of autographed Allen Iverson game-worn kicks for my 8th birthday because my mom is friends with Larry Brown back in the day. I love this basketball team. I am not optimistic that they're going to reverse this curse, especially with all of the injuries, not just to Joel Embiid, but I threw his name out there a little bit earlier. D'Anthony Melton has these problematic back injuries. So if the Sixers stay in the play-in, there's a couple of potential paths that we can go through. You beat Miami in the play-in round, Jimmy Butler against the Sixers, and Eric Spoelstra, not good. You beat Milwaukee in round 1, and then you beat Cleveland in round 2. That's tough. Scenario number 2, you lose to Miami in the play-in, you beat Chicago, Atlanta in the other play-in after that, and you beat Boston in round 1, and then you beat the Knicks in round 2. Scenario 1 is what you want. And what would be required there is beating the Miami Heat in the play-in game. That's why you just got to get out of the play-in tournament. The 3-6 matchup you take on the Cavs first round, somehow you take on the Pacers first round. If that's like a 4-5 or a 3-6, that'd be great. Play-in tournament, that spells disaster. Everything depends on Embiid's health. That's really what it comes down to. And look, we've been spoiled in a certain way, right? I mean, the Sixers have had a lot of playoff success. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, they were winning first-round series. And in the bubble, it was bad. But since then, they've won first-round series. It all comes down to getting over that hump. And it's all going to come down to the health of the superstar in Joel Embiid. Ryan, what did you think Tobias Harris's next contract will look like? Man, I think he'll get $25 million. And you might say, Chase, you're crazy. That's the going rate for a player on a bad team who's going to give you 20, 25 points per game, and he's going to shoot somewhere around 48 to 50% from the floor, and let's say 38 to 40% from three. Now, his numbers this year, not good, but he's averaging 17 on a really good team. He goes to a bad team like the Pistons, they'll pay him if he's chucking a little bit more, and he's given them 20, 25 points in those shooting splits. I'm telling you they will. Tobias Harris has also been an extremely durable player. And Chip, you and I, we share our frustrations with Tobias Harris.
Yeah, a little bit injured right now with the ankle injury. Hope he gets better soon. But look, I wouldn't be surprised, as Chase said, I think that $25 million number is perfect. I think it comes down to what his priorities are going to be in free agency. There's going to be a bad team, like the Detroit Pistons, teams in the West, the Spurs. There's going to be a bad team that's going to offer him 30+ mil, I think.
Yeah.
It's possible. And there's going to be better teams that could offer him 20 to 25. I don't think he comes back to the Sixers. I think they're ready to move on. But there's a realistic chance where, look, if he just wants to cash in, get his money, and just play, score 25, maybe he can get 25 points a game if he's on a bad team. Depends where his priorities lie. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a bigger deal this offseason.
I can't wait for Tobias Harris to not be a Philadelphia 76er. If they bring him back, I will riot. I'm saying about 25 mil on a bad team. He could get 30 mil. Chip throwing out that number, that is completely realistic because it's also about $10 million cheaper than what he's making right now. Will he make over or under 25 mil? That's why I threw out that number to see if we go over that or under. Why don't you make a bet down in the comments section for free? It's legal, I promise. And as you venture down there, make sure you subscribe to the show for year-round Sixers coverage. We've been crushing it here on the show. Hopefully you feel the same and you respond to that by continuing to watch us and hitting that subscribe button.